Hey, what's up guys? This is Gabriel with East Coast Coatings. I just wanted to show you guys the second phase of the three-step process that East Coast Coating uses to paint walls. If you remember in the first video, I showed you guys this home before we got any primer, any paint on the walls. I think we had just mudded some spots up. We were still in the process of phase one, which is sanding all the walls down and mudding any imperfections. We're on our way to phase three. We finished phase two. We got all the walls sanded, all the mudding sanded. We got the walls primed up. Just wanted to show you guys how everything looks, so come on in guys. So phase two is completed. If you look at the walls, you can see the walls aren't yellow anymore. We already got our cuts on. The wall. We're going with agreeable gray. As you can see, the walls are completely white. It's because we prime it with a high quality drywall primer. It's a drywall primer slash sealer, so it seals up the wall. It turns the wall into a canvas ready to receive our paint. Like I said in the first clip, even though we're using, this is the paint right here, even though we're using a SuperPaint to paint the walls, and it's a paint and primer in one, we're still going to go ahead and prime the walls, right? Because there's no such thing as a paint and primer in one. There's no paint and primer in one that's going to do what this primer, that this bad boy does right here, man. This turns the wall into, it almost reminds me of those books when, painters, when they paint, like in book, when they do art, it almost reminds me of that paper, because if you guys can't feel it, but if you feel this wall is very rigid, right? It feels just like that painter's paper that, artists paint on, when they have their little sketchbooks and stuff. And that's what the primer does. There's no paint that's going to do that. So again, you want to make sure you're priming your walls first before you're putting a high quality paint on the walls. Again, this is what separates us from most painters. They think that just because they're using a paint and primer in one, they don't have to prime the walls. That's absolutely malarkey. You got to prime the walls every single time. That's key to having a good paint job. So another thing I wanted to emphasize is the cuts. So if you look at, we can just focus on this wall. If you come over here, if you want to look at the wall and just follow it straight down, and I really want to emphasize just how straight the cuts are. I feel personally, this is what really makes or breaks a paint job. You don't want to have wavy, sloppy cuts. It doesn't make the paint job look very good. I'm a perfectionist, so I like to have my cuts extremely straight. Even if you keep on following it along this wall, you can see how meticulous I am in making sure the cuts come out extremely straight. That's something that I definitely wanted to emphasize. It's definitely something I pride myself on, is making sure that East Coast Coatings has straight cuts. Like I said, it really makes or breaks a paint job. Without straight cuts, your paint job isn't going to look very good. So again, if you're looking to hire a painter, make sure they have straight cuts. That's really key, right, into making sure a paint job looks good, right? You want to prime the walls, and you want to make sure that when you're doing your cuts, that those cuts are also going to be extremely straight. So, if we just do another quick tour around here, as you can see, we got the whole house primed up. Just over here, if you want to just do I'm going to kind of keep this clip pretty short. I know the first clip was rather long. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. But, I just want to show you guys the process. As you can see, the walls are white, right? They used to be yellow, now they're white. We're going into phase three, which is applying the final coat of paint to the walls. But I just wanted to show you guys phase two before we finish phase three. I want to show you guys the process and just the time and effort that we take to actually make sure our paint job looks good, right? Because priming is key to that. So, we can go upstairs real quick. I'll show you guys quick before we shut this video down. As you can see, these walls are white. They used to be yellow. We had some sanding going on over here. Yeah, the rugs are pretty gross. I think I emphasized that enough in the first clip of this video. This is the room with the wallpaper. I talked to the client. The wallpaper was extremely difficult to remove. It's been on here for, maybe over 10 years. So we actually came to a different agreement. to actually just, remember, I don't know if you guys remember from the first video, but it was layered in wallpaper strips. So what we did is, you guys can barely see it, but if you can still see the mudded spots. Essentially, what me and the homeowner came to the agreement of, he's actually a person that flips homes, so he buys homes, I paint them, then he puts them on the market. So we basically just put a thin coat of mud over each seam, so just to give it a smooth, just a smooth finish. Because if I would have just painted it with those strips on, you would have seen the lines of where all the strips were. So what we did is we applied sheetrock compound to all the strips. Yeah, it was pretty labor intensive. We had, I mean, you can still see up top where the mud strips were. We basically had to just mud each strip all the way around the room, sanded it down really smooth, and then again, hit it with some primer. We had some spots over here that we had to re-hit. Was a little too protruding out for my taste. Like I told you, I'm a perfectionist. I like my work to look good. So I just sanded all that down with this this orbital. That's why this electric sander's over here. I'll bring it in for you guys. I just took this electric sander and I sanded down some of the parts that were just protruding a little too much for my taste. You know, probably, you know, no one else would have had a problem with it, but I definitely had a problem with it. So I re-hit all that with the electric sander and re-mudded it. I'm going to sand this down. This is going to be a lot smoother. I'm going to go ahead and prime this up after I sand that down. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. We got a lot of our cuts done over here. Like I said, walls is primed. Used to be, you know, a yellow color out here. This room was really blue. You can still see the blue kind of popping out through the primer. We primed this up, you know, we're putting our final coat of agreeable gray on the walls. Same thing with this closet, got this closet primed up. We went ahead and took the shelves off. We got all the screws, you know, the shelves here. Just makes it easier for us to paint this closet without having to cut around everything. We just, you know, take them out, paint it, and then you just put everything back. It's not a big deal. It's actually much quicker than having to cut around everything. Same thing with this laundry room. You know, this laundry room was a yellow. We got the walls pretty primed up. Still got to come in here and do some cuts with the priming. But this room is pretty good. And same thing with this room. This room is primed up. We got the semi-gloss on these doors already. We protect the hinges over here. That's the tape you see. We got this trim done. We got the doors painted up nice and white. They were kind of like a yellow color, kind of dirty and musty. We got those looking like the White House, like I said we would. And same thing in this bathroom. This bathroom was or you can actually still see some of it. This bathroom was a real dark orange, if you could see up there. So we got some primer on this wall. Again, key to a paint job is priming the walls. We got some primer on here. We're about to come in here, hit it with some sea salt. Satin finish, because it's a high moisture area. So in bathrooms and kitchens, we like to hit it with a satin finish. Gives it an extra layer of protection and really gives it that wipeability, right? And this is the master. Got these walls pretty primed up. If you guys remember, there was like a hole here. There was a hole over there. There was a hole right here. We got these walls, we got these holes taken care of. I'm gonna have to come back, sand that down, and we'll hit that with some primer. Come to the master bathroom. Got this bathroom pretty primed up. There was holes here that we took care of. Again, we removed all the shelves. Got this master closet pretty primed up. We're almost ready to come in here and throw that final coat of paint on, agreeable gray. I actually think we're going with sea salt in the master bed as well. So sea salt in the master bed and sea salt in the bathrooms. Satin finish in the bathrooms, of course, because it's a high moisture area, and we want that extra layer of protection to just give it that wipeability, right? But, you know, that's all I wanted to show you guys. We can come back down here. Just wanted to show you guys the second phase in the three-phase process that we use to paint walls. Again, phase one is we sand every square inch of the wall, remove all the dirt, grime, and grit off the wall, mud any imperfections, right? That was what you saw in the first clip of this video. There was a whole bunch of mud spots everywhere around the house. Phase 2 was to sand all those mud spots down and hit it with a high quality primer, right? That's why this wall is nice and white. It almost looks like we could have just left it like that and called it a day, but obviously that's not the way it works. It's just a primer, but you know, I like to get the walls looking good. Even with the primer coat, I like the walls to look good, so then that ensures that your paint is gonna look good, right? Because if it looks good with the primer on it, that's gonna look even better when we put that final coat of paint on it, that super paint, that rich paint and primer in one. But that's all I got for you guys. Just wanted to show you guys phase 2. When we finished up, when we got everything knocked out, I'll shoot another video, show you guys the end product. But that's all I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys got some value. And I'll see you guys in the finished up version of this video where we show the final product when we have all the paint on the walls. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys. Have a good day.